Alright, everybody. Happy April Fool's Day. It is April 1st, 2025 at 5:28 p.m. Pacific Time. Welcome to tonight's lesson of 2 for 1. It's a 2 for 1 VRChat World Development lesson today. It's going to be respawning objects, and I'm going to be teaching you guys about teleporters for today using the objects like a cube to teleport a player from one spot of the map to another. Today, we're going to be starting with teleporters before we start with respawning, because it's the most important part of a VR chat world from getting one place to another and like very fast. So before we get into the coding and doing objects and all that, let me show you what we'll be doing today. This is gonna be an important lesson because this is gonna be the one that you're gonna be going back to when it comes to teleporters and all that. Keep in mind we are using objects to teleport our player. So we go inside of the house here. Now you may be wondering, this house over here, you may have noticed that we have something here, and that is a new area. We have a second floor now. Now, before we get started, where is this elevator coming from? Because I never showed you this. That is coming from buying this guy. This is the elevator gimmick from 100 levels. This is made by this guy right here. So if you guys want to check this one out, I will be linking this in the description below. It is about 100, 100, 100, 300 yen. Um, 300 yen or 500 yen if you want the whole thing. And the manual is free, so don't forget to get that. Make sure you guys follow support your fellow VRChat World developers. Alright, we'll be using that today. So you may be wondering, why is this button here? This is going to be the teleporter. Now, we have an elevator. What's the use of the teleporter for? Well, what happens if the elevator is full? If the elevator is full with a lot of characters, then it's not good. It's a crowded. It's crowded. So what do you expect? You have the stairs, right? In the VR chat, we have something called a teleporter, and here is the green room. Literally, it's a green room. What is this for? I'm glad you asked. It's for something on Thursday. On Thursday, we're not gonna have a formal lesson with coding. Instead, we're going to be showing you guys something cool, where you guys get to start adding more um creations from the community. Okay, so we have the main floor to the green room, main floor, green room. Then at the second half of the lesson, we're gonna be doing part two, which is respawning an object. So you have a baseball here, and you have, let's say for example, uh-oh, I lost my baseball. Mookie Betts hit it out of the Dodger Stadium. Can we respawn it? Ta-da! That's what you have to do. That's you do. All right, let's go to the teleporters first because this is the big one. So let's go ahead and exit play mode, and then let's go to. Let me show you the Udon Graph Programming Asset that we are using for today. To make a button, once again, you can either do two things. You can right click and make a 3D object and a cube, or if you have Pro Builder, you can select new shape. Cube is at the bottom right here, and you can also use that as well. All right, if you wish. So because we're using we're doing the teleporter first. Let me showcase the Udon Graph Programming Asset so that you guys are caught up on how the thing works. Okay, so we have a teleporter button here. Go to inspector. Let's open the Udon graph. This comes into two parts. So the first thing we need is a transform. A transform is where you can get your location, like XYZ. And it's a variable called target location, and it's a transform. To get this happen, press the plus button and look for transform. and then you're going to get a new variable. Make sure you double click that and type in target location. When you have done that, press enter. Make sure you drop down the menu here and place it as a public variable because you want to make sure it's public so that you can select it. I'm going to remove this one because I already have my target location. Once you have done your target location, drag it out here into your Udon graph, and then we're going to get a few things that is important. We're going to get a few important items in terms of our Udon graph. Do a little something here. The Udon graph consists of a few nodes that we need to take a look at. The first node is get rotation under transform. We also need get position under transform as well. And we're going to need networking get local player. And we need interact, event interact. And then we're also going to need a VRC teleport player API and teleport to. This is going to be that location thing that I mentioned. So let's take a look at what we got. So we need a transform get rotation. We also need a transform get position. To get to these nodes, press spacebar, go to transform, and then get rotation, and also get position as well. Try to get those two, and then you want to put the from your variable target location, you want to drag the arrow to get position and get rotation. Then over here, we have two other nodes that we need to talk about. The get local player and the event interact. This is a networking node, and this is going to tell you the VRChat, hey, VRChat, get the local player and do some and do some logic on this player. So it's under VRC player API, and it's under networking, get local player, that's yourself. Then we need an event interact because when we click this cube, we're going to teleport to a location. All this is going to be connected to this guy, the VRC a player API teleport to, and it takes in 4 inputs, including the following: an event, which is going to be our event interact, the get local player API, the get position, and get rotation. The instance is coming from get local player. The get position is going to go to teleport post POS, which is a vector, and then the rotation ROT is going to be you're going to connect the rotation one to the last one teleport ROT. Okay, keep that in mind as you continue here. Okay, and that's it for the script for the teleport button. But we need to do one more thing. With your cube selected, let's just say this one for example, you're going to do one more thing. You're going to need to do a right click. We're going to make an empty game object, create empty, and we're going to call this teleport test. What's going to happen is we're going to drag in our script, Udon behavior as a component, which is going to be actually not this cube. Let me make a new one. I'm going to make a new cube so that we don't accidentally count this as a teleporter. So I'm going to go ahead and make a new cube. So we can 3D object cube. Now it does not have to be a cube per se. It could be a sphere, circle, whatever. A lot of people who play VRChat loves cubes, so why not? So cube, we need to put in our Udon Graph Programming Asset. The Udon behavior, add a new component, and then we're going to drag in our script, which should be called teleport button, and then we're going to right click on cube 5 because this is what it is. We're going to make a create empty. We're going to call this teleport test, and then we're going to drag this guy to wherever we want the player to be teleported to. Let's say over here, and then save it. Then we're going to go back to our cube. We're going to drag teleport test to our target location variable, and then we're going to call this teleport test. All right, control save. Let's test it out using Cyan EMU, and then we're going to take a look at what happens. Keep in mind, if you do not put network, it's going to work, but it's only going to work for you, kind of thing. And next week we're going to be cleaning up. Next week is the cleanup week for the lessons. We're going to be doing globalization. So we have this cube, and ta-da! We just teleported over here. If we do it again, ta-da! We're over here. Now you may be wondering why am I facing there, and that is because if we take a look at the teleport test empty object, you may have noticed we were facing, I believe, right here. What happens is it's the blue arrow. So if you want to rotate it, rotate tool, control, hold control, try to make it to where the blue arrow will be pointing this way, for example. So let's test it again. Now again, the blue arrow is going to be where your facing direction is going to be for the most objects, not for all. And we're going to be playing with some stuff on Thursday, like chairs and all that, to make it fun. And ta-da, you see, the blue arrow was pointing this way. So the blue arrow is going to be your target face. You may have noticed, however, there are some interesting images. That is for something I'm going to show you guys on Thursday. But I'm going to give you guys a little hint on it later on in the lesson. So that's it for teleportation. Now, keep in mind, there is a way to teleport to random location, and that is going to be another lesson for another day. But it calls for a randomizer, and then it calls like a object pool. I'm not gonna do any object pooling until next time because I don't want it to be too advanced, especially for beginners. So why have a teleporter? You might ask. Besides the elevator example, the reason why you should have a teleporter is because number one, let's just say your VR chat world is gonna be like 100 miles long. I'm just giving you a number out there. But let's say your VR chat world is 100 miles long, and at 100 at mile 50, there's a gas station. But you have to walk all the way to that gas station to get gas. So you use a teleporter to teleport over there. Then you can link that teleporter back to the gas station, if you know what I mean. And the same thing goes if you want to come back to this location. You just make another cube. You just put that object into the script and all that good stuff. All right. Now let's go on to the next part of our lesson, and that is going to be respawning objects. I was going to do this last week, but because of Mario Maker week this week for our Mario stuff, I had to get ready for that. And I'm still not ready because tomorrow we're doing it again. And let me just tell you, we had some lag yesterday. So respawning objects. What does respawning objects? Why is this important in a VR chat world? Because you're just playing with objects, right? Well, what happens if you lose that object? You don't get it back for the most part, unless there's an automatic respawner there. So let me show you the respawn um Udon Graph Programming Asset, and that is called respawn object. If you guys want to know how to get into um, the Udon Graph Programming Asset, right click, create. We're going to go to VRChat, Udon, Udon Graph Programming Asset, and then it's going to be based. So Udon Graph is based on a node system, and then C, and then the Sharp Udon Sharp is based on C Sharp. Okay, this is, but they do the same thing, but one of them is visual, and the other one you actually have to do computer coding. This one, Udon Graph Programming Asset, it's visual, but they do the exact same thing. So let's take a look at the respawn object Udon Graph. This comes into two parts, and both parts are important. The first thing we're going to need is a variable, and it's a VRC object sync. But before we do this, I need to go over the object itself, and the object for today is a baseball. Now, why is this important? It's because we need one important component, and that is called the VRC object sync. The VRC object sync is responsible for allowing other players to see said object. If you do not have this VRC object sync component, even though if I have the baseball, I'm showing a baseball, you're not going to see the baseball. You're going to see me, holding some invincible object, which is that baseball. So without this VRC object sync, you cannot see the baseball. You're only going to see a hand or some shape, some imaginary baseball. Imagine you hit that thing out of the park though. But you do need that VRC object sync. You also need a VRC pickup, rigid body, and box collider if you're willing to pick up the object, obviously. All right, that's what we need. So let's go into the code of the VRC, the respawn object. This comes into two parts, and one part is on the bottom, which is shown now, and the other part is on top, which I'm going to show you guys in a moment. We are going to need a variable, and that is called OBJ object sync target, and that is a VRC object sync variable. And this is the target. The target is the object that we want to respawn. In this case, the baseball. So we're going to drag our object target down here. We are going to send a custom event to a VRC object sync respawn node. The importance of this node is that we need to have this call this to respawn an object. So this is going to be your target object. The custom event is going to be respawn OBJ, and we're going to connect that to our respawn object network sync right here. The next part is on top. The next part is event interact, and that's an Udon behavior, and we're going to we're going to be using a send custom network event node. It's under Udon behavior. Why is this important? It's important because you are sending to the network with the VRChat network an event. Now, contrary to this though, let's say you don't have this and you just want to spawn this, it's only going to spawn for you. You don't want that. You want everybody wants to see it. So it's going to be over the network. It's an Udon behavior, and it takes four inputs. The one with the arrow, the target, the event name, and the instance. Okay, we want to have an event interact on the arrow, and the event name will be respawn object, which is found here, which is gonna be from our thing here, obj um our respawn object custom event. Name it the way you want it because you need the same name here. So this is the Udon graph for respawning an object. All right. So the way this works, I'm going to play it so that you guys can see what the result is going to be. Then what's going to happen is I'm going to test this using the VRChat client so that you guys can see what I'm referring to when it comes to the network. So this baseball, I'm going to put it over there just for the sake of it. I'm going to use this to respawn the baseball. That's all you have to do, respawn the baseball. All right. Now, what I want to do show you guys now is I'm going to show you guys the whole networking thing. We're going to go to VRChat SDK. I'm going to send out two clients and we're going to build and test. The reason why we're doing two clients is for network purposes. So if I see this, you see this. Player one will see this. Player two will also see this. If the object in question has a VRC object sync component, if it does not, the other player will not see it, no matter what you do, because it's a connected network event. There is also please do not confuse a VRC object sync with player object. There's a new one called VRC player object. That is not the same. That is actually for something new called persistence, which allows you to save, quote unquote, save your progress. We will not get into that today because that is for advanced tutorials. We will get there when we get there. But but brief but a brief insight um into persistence. Basically, if you want to save your progress for game world, that's what you would use. We'll get into that material when the time comes. But because this series is dedicated for beginners, I don't want to get too technical and I don't want to get you too much into coding this at this moment. That's not what I do here. I like to code website stuff, but let's get into this. So I have two players, player one and player two. Duh. I'm going to try to do this, and the other one is this, and the other one is this. So right here, player two is on the top right, player one is on the top left. So player two is going to go ahead and pick up the ball, and he is going to drop it way over here. Bye bye. I'm going to go back to player one on the top left, and then I'm going to say, give me that ball back. He's going to say no, and he's going to say, I have this button. Ta-da! I have the ball back. Oh, look where it is. The same location because it's networked. And we have VRC object sync. That is the exact same location. We have that ball in right here on the editor on the bottom. What about teleporters? So let's go ahead and do the teleporter now. Go inside this house. I'm gonna have both of them go upstairs to the green room. I'm gonna have this one on the left go use the elevator. Let's just say for some reason the elevator is full. That's not true. There's only one player in there. I'm gonna use the teleporter. Look at there goes player one. I'm gonna go to the tutorial, the green room using the teleporter. You see how it syncs up? He sees me, I see you. Okay? Now we're gonna be both in the elevator. I'm gonna press number one, and we're both gonna go downstairs because it's synced at this moment. So that's the importance of a VRC object sync as well as a global element. Now, the reason why next week we're going to do something called a cleanup week for our VRChat world development tutorials is because, as you guys can see, the doors are open, except I have to tell you they are not networked. What do I mean by that? On the right, pay attention to the right. I'm going to close the door. But as you guys can see on the left, the door is not closed. That is because I did not network the doors. Like I did not send a custom networked event. That's okay though, because next week we're going to clean it up. Okay? So now that that's how teleporters work, and that is how networked networked materials work as well. I have something cool to show you guys. You probably saw it right now. You probably can see on the top left corner as well as the little instructions. You see, this is a third person camera tool developed by Volvian, and I'm going to show you guys how to get these little cool things on Thursday. We're gonna have a fun episode on Thursday. It's not a formal lesson. It's more of let's make this more fun. So, if you press the T button on the, pay attention to the top right, you're gonna be able to go in third person point of view, and this is third person. All right, so you're gonna be able to see all the stuff here. Now, I will warn you, I would I would press T again to go back in first person to pick up an object. And the reason for this, it's harder if you're already in third person. Do keep that in mind. While holding an object, you can press T to hold it in third person point of view. Okay? And then if you want to drop it, you can. And then I'm going to hand the ball to this guy. Where's the front of this camera? Look at that. Look at that nice baseball. Okay? But there's more. If I can get this to work correctly, there is more. I think I'm gonna have to do a little tweaking with it, but that's okay because as you can see on the top left, we have another camera um system where you can go into what we call free cam. What is free cam? Free cam. You're gonna find that out on Thursday because it's not working for me right now. And you may be wondering, hey, why didn't you tell me about this on Wednesday last week when we did our lesson? And that is because this is coming from the community. This is not from me. You might be wondering, can you not make your own camera system? Yes, you can, but that takes years to do, and I'm not willing to spend that much time for a tutorial. Okay, so don't expect that. My goal is to make it easier for you to make your VR chat world so you can publish them like in week 3 or 4. But I would like to show you guys what the idea of this quote unquote free cam is going to do. And I'm going to remove the top left corner. I'm going to exit player 1 here. I'm just going to have player 2 here for the sake of the tutorial. So you may have wondered, oh, wait, it's a green room. What is the green room for? Oh, what do I do on this channel? Role play. So on Thursday, I'm going to show you guys like how you guys can start making the fun stuff. What's going on, Evil Sonic? The fun stuff, the role play, the weapons, all the cool stuff that you normally see the Sonic channels do or the Pokemon channels do. So that is what's on Thursday. And this is just a little taste. So The camera system is just an added bonus. But there's more I want to show you guys on Thursday as well because it makes it more fun as a world. Now, here's the cool thing. Did you know that this world is already up on VRChat and you guys can play it? Kind of. It's in private mode right now. You cannot play it unless I invite you. So look at this. Ah, look, the camera is locked. Locked in place, boys. Lock in. We're gonna be playing some COD. No, just kidding. Um, we're gonna be playing Mario Maker, and then like I'm gonna be like blasting Mario Maker in the background over there when I play. I've seen streamers do something really cool just by using a green screen, and it's not even in VR chat. They make it themselves, and somebody make like a receipt. You know those receipt printers that you get at like you see at Walmart or something. Somebody made a receipt printer printing all the subs they earned. They may all be beyond rendering. Why can I not sit in these chairs? It's because I did not put the VRC chair yet, and that's gonna be on Thursday. Hi, what's up, B? Oh yeah, so yeah. I locked in the camera for that particular scene. So let's say you are going to do a role play, and you have camera right there, and then let's say you have a video editor, and then that is your background. That is literally your background. And then you can put like if you have a video editor that does chroma key, you can put like a background of Mario, Pokemon World, whatever, and or a studio. You can do your podcast just like that. But this free cam thing I'm working on for Thursday, that is gonna be the cake, the cherry on top. And then I finally get to let you upload your world. Almost. We're almost there for the beginners. Because after the beginner tutorial, we're going to intermediate. But not right away. I'm gonna have some fun first. Okay? Maybe Mario Maker week all week. In a few weeks after the tutorials are over. So yeah, as you can see there, yeah, I think I got to teach you how to do teleporters. I got to teach you how to do respawning objects. On Thursday, we're gonna have some fun. We're gonna go over how to add community repositories. Re- repositories. So basically, what you just saw with this camera thing is a community repository. Whoever made it. This is not the camera drone that VRChat is having. This is basically somebody made the system for you to use it on a stream or something. So yeah, so that would be on Thursday. Little announcement here. Tomorrow, Mario Maker. Thursday we're gonna be doing this again. We'll be doing the fun stuff. Friday we have Fortnite Friday. Saturday we're going to have our Mario Maker because it is still considered Mario Maker week. And on Sunday we're gonna have our chill stream, whatever indie game we can get our hands on. All right. I know this was a little short, but that's because the coding is short. It's not as much as you think it is. Now, other FAQ I would like to go over. Can you respawn multiple objects? Yes, you can. But that's gonna be a different script because that's sync. That's called a sync um respawn. So if you guys want me to go into that, I will consider doing that next week as well. The next question is, can you teleport to other locations like a random? Yes, you can. But I believe it's a VRC object pool. as a VR object pool, and that's an array. So it's an array of locations to um, pull into, and that's random. It's not like this where you can teleport to a correct location. If you use object pool, it's a pool of objects where it can be random, it can be in order. And you're gonna see that with some of the objects we're gonna play with on Thursday, and to show you the difference. But most of them are going to be using C sharp code. That's the thing. The next question would be: can you do a combination of toggling objects and respawning objects? And the answer is yes, you can. You can teleport. You can toggle objects, and then if one of those objects is a object that you put into a button for a teleport for a respawn, yes, you can. You can respawn and toggle at the same time. So the best case used for the respawn of objects is if for some this happens every time. Let's say you have an object like a baseball, and one player accidentally threw it to the parking lot in your VRChat world. Normally, saying that ball is gone, literally, but you can press the button to bring it back. Or in some cases, let's say you need to get back to the quote unquote lobby from a game world. You can also use that, or in some in those game worlds, they use it automatically after a certain amount of time. But that's advanced coding because you're dealing with a game world and some other stuff. So if you guys are into that, that's going to be a long time from now, right? That will be for teleporters, for respawners, and teleporters. That's all for now. I hope you guys enjoyed our lessons for today. If you have any questions about the lessons or a node that you need some help on, there's a lot of nodes to go over that we've gone over in the last 5 lessons. Let me know. I'll be happy to attempt to answer your question. And as always, may your rolls be critical and roll those natural 20s. We'll see you tomorrow for Mario Maker Night number 2 of 3 for this week. Enjoy, keep on responding, and keep on teleporting.